Welcome back, everybody, to Weekly Picks, NFL style, with Go Bills podcast. Brett McDurphy and Sean, your host from Red, White, and Bills. And Brett's kind of, it's weird because we're close in losses, kind of far away in wins because you're always hitting the upsets. But I knew Carolina was going to win, and I was trying to be different, and I changed my pick, but that was a great pick. Brett's 97 and 55. I'm 90 and 60, so not too bad. I think we're both doing really good considering, you see a lot of other people out there doing this and they're kind of close to 500, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
we're not doing bad. But we got a cool week going on here, and me and Jake will be at the game Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, so that'll be fun. But without further ado, let's get into Thursday night. You got Washington going into Philadelphia. So Washington's going to have two big tests in a row. They lost to the Steelers last week. Now they got first place on the line with the Eagles. I'm going to go with the Eagles at home. They're on a 5-game win streak since the bye. They seem to be getting better and better. Commanders are really good, but Eagles at home. I just got to see the Commanders that do something on the road against a good team before I can pick them to win on the road against a good team. So I got Eagles.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you on this one, Sean. I feel like the Eagles are starting to gel on offense. They're with Nick Sirianni. He understands that his job is on the line, so he has to do something this season. You got Devontae Smith as well as A.J. Brown. They're making things go. And Saquon Barkley looks incredible too. And then on the other hand, you got a rookie in Jaden Daniels who's exceeding expectations. And I feel like at some point there's going to be a little bit of a drop off, and this is where the drop off is going to happen in a couple of game loss, and the Commanders will lose this one, but they'll get back on track and get back into playoff contention early.
Yeah, Jaden's been good, and it's just a little tangent before we move on. People they talked about Stroud last year. Oh, he had one of the best rookie seasons ever, but then do you remember Justin Herbert when he was a rookie? He had 37 touchdowns and 5,000 passing yards. And I don't know why people thought Stroud's was maybe because he had fewer interceptions. I think he had 5 picks. He only had 23 touchdowns. That's really not that good. I mean, I know for a rookie it's decent, but they made it seem like he threw 50 touchdowns. And then this year, Jaden Daniels has been good, but not jumping out in the stat sheet at you, and everyone's like, wow, he's just been out of this world. His season's just one for the ages. You never really seen anything like this. I'm just like, he's making great decisions. He's obviously exceeded expectation, but he's not winning, being the guy to put the team on his back and win you the football game. I guess he did against Cincinnati, but Cincinnati was 1-4 or 2-4 at the time or something. But he's got a bright future ahead of him. I don't know if he's already hit his ceiling. It's hard to tell. Year one, but he definitely was coming out the most polished in college. But we'll see. Still have a lot of love for his game, and I'll be rooting for him. But then you got the Rams going in New England. Rams kind of had a rough game against the Dolphins. It just seemed like everything was going right for the Dolphins, and the Rams just couldn't get anything going on offense. They made a 52-yard field goal, had a false start, turned into a 57-yard one. They missed. They ended up losing by 8. Maybe the game's different if they make that field goal, but can't take that away. The Dolphins had a pretty solid game, but I got the Rams bouncing back and beating the Pats.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you on this one too, Sean. I feel like the Rams, they're kind of this wishy-washy type of team this year where if they're healthy, they have some major weapons in Puka Nacua as well as Cooper Kupp. But when they're kind of off a little bit, that's when things start to roll down. But you're going up against the Patriots. This is the team that's kind of struggling right now. They're going for first place for the first overall pick, one of the teams that's competing for that. And I feel like they want to get another quarterback, find somebody that they can develop as well, or some type of offensive weapon that they can add to this offensive line that's struggling too. So we'll see what happens there. But I feel like the Patriots are just not competing this year.
Yeah, and then you got the Vegas Raiders going into Miami. Last week, the last couple of weeks, you saw Miami get a little bit better. Tua came back. They seemed more as a team overall on both sides of the ball. And I just wasn't comfortable picking them until they started winning. Obviously, the Raiders stink, but They played great against the Rams, so now I can get back into feeling comfortable picking them in most games. So obviously the Raiders are coming off a bye; they're not that good. They're definitely competing for the first overall pick. They're 2-7. They don't know who their quarterback is. They don't have Devontae Adams. Christian Wilkins is on IR. They have Max Crosby still. So this isn't it is anything can happen, but I think the Fins should handle the Raiders and keep improving.
Complete agreement with you on this one, Sean. It's going to sound like I'm just copying and pasting what you're saying,
No,
but
it's okay.
no,
It's 50-50.
yeah, listen, this is the Dolphins team that I took last week when you didn't, and I looked at them and I said, you know what, their season's on the line. They got a lot of weapons out there with guys on their defense that you can think of. They just claimed Tyrell Dodson as well, and that's another major move that they acquire from the Seattle Seahawks. This team is looking to bounce back, get into the playoff contention, and while their season didn't start off good with Tua being out, that's not the way that they wanted it to go. I feel like they're going to kind of ride the ship and get into the playoffs, and they're going to be a sneaky team if they get in there. Somebody that's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, we'll see. They've been going on the road to a cold place for the most. It's either going to be the Bills, Chiefs, or the Ravens, or the
Yeah.
Steelers, because they wouldn't be the 5 seed, and Houston's going to be the 4. So they have to go on the road and play a cold weather team, which they can't really do well. So they might sneak in, but there's a couple other teams that might sneak in also. And then you got Green Bay going to Chicago. Chicago just looks horrible lately. Lost 3 games in a row. Green Bay's coming off a bye. Obviously, the Green Bay is more talented, has better coaching, and a better quarterback. I got Green Bay winning this game.
Well, you look at what the Chicago Bears have done this week, and with Matt Eberflus pretty much being on the coaching hot seat, this is a team that they couldn't bench their starting quarterback in Caleb Williams. But on the other hand, you have Jordan Love out there. You have a lot of weapons with Josh Jacobs as well, and then some other weapons that are kind of like what the Bills wanted to build their offense around is some mid-major wide receivers instead of having a big name like an Amari Cooper. They have some guys that are filling in and making it into a 1A, 1B type situation. I have the Packers winning this game. I feel like it's going to be very close, though, and I feel like the Bears defense is going to give the Packers some fits. But it comes down to one thing, and I feel like the Packers defense is going to come up with a big stop on Caleb Williams that'll keep them from losing this game. So they'll win it, but it's going to be very, very close.
Then you got Jags with Mac Jones. They're actually the number 1 pick right now at 2-8, going against the Lions in Detroit. There's not much to say about this game, so the Lions should destroy them. They won a game after they threw 5 picks, so they're going to be tough to beat. Jacksonville, I'll be completely, utterly shocked if they even keep close with the Lions in this game. So, not much to say.
Listen, I'm going to say this very quickly. Detroit's going to win this game, but it's going to be a major bounce back for them, and it's not even going to be close. It's not a game I even want to watch.
No, definitely not. Then you go to another game that's probably going to be crappy. Cleveland versus Saints. Saints finally got a win last week after losing 7 in a row, and surprisingly beat Atlanta, who has been really good. And then Cleveland was off a bye. They had a nice game against Baltimore, beat Baltimore. Then they looked like crap the following week. Now they're on a bye. I'm going to go with Cleveland, though. The Saints just aren't good to me. Interim head coach Derek Carr just stinks, and MVS unfortunately for us, had a pretty good day for them, but I don't think he's going to do that again. And again, the Cleveland defense is solid, so I'm going to go with Cleveland.
So I'm going to go the opposite way in this game. I feel like with Derek Carr returning from injury, you have Alvin Kamara out there as well. He's been playing very well this season. They're going to have enough to get over the hump. And then you look at what the Cleveland Browns have out there. They have Jameis Winston, going up against his former team. They're going to have some insight on him as well. This defense of the Saints is going to give him fits, and they're going to be able to get the win.
All right. Another game, not much to really say. I mean, maybe not. Minnesota went 12-7 against the Jags last week. They did horrible, but they're playing Tennessee, who's also not that good. this is less of a gimme than the Lions one, but I don't think
Yeah.
Minnesota's going to struggle. Justin Jefferson's just going to torch everyone. I don't think Sam Darnold's going to throw 3 picks again, and the Minnesota defense is just too good. So I got Minnesota.
When I think of this game, I think of two things. Number one, the Titans defense, they are actually a team that kind of surprises you a little bit. They can play good. You got Jeffrey
Yeah.
Simmons out there. You got some other weapons as well. But
Right.
I mean, when I look at this game, I don't think it's going to be close. I feel like the Vikings need to bounce back. They started off so strong, and then they kind of sizzled out a little bit. This is where they get back on track, and the Vikings will get a win.
Yeah, I agree. And then this is another great game, divisional game. Baltimore and Pittsburgh. And obviously, these two teams are probably going to be the 2 or the 3, or definitely the 5, because whoever doesn't win the division is going to be the 5 seed, which is why you don't want to be the 4, because you have to play a team that's probably going to win 12 or 13 games, and they're a really good football team. So that's why you want the 2 or the 3. And this is interesting. Baltimore's got 3 losses already. Pittsburgh has 2. Pittsburgh goes to 8-2, and then you lose. That means you go to the 3 seed, and then you got to compete with Pittsburgh, which is better because you don't play Pittsburgh, and you already lost to Baltimore. So you kind of want Pittsburgh to win regardless, and put Ravens against the Texans, and then the Ravens would have to play Kansas City if they won. So that's someone's gonna be knocked out that you don't want to play.
Yeah.
You just want to keep advancing. But I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh here. I think at home they looked really, really good. I mean, they could lay an egg, and then I could start changing my thoughts on them. And Baltimore is really good too. This is a very good matchup, but I really lean on Lamar's 2-4 against Pittsburgh in his last 6 starts. Sometimes you just struggle against a team, and they have T.J. Watt, who's just wreaking havoc all the time, and Russell Wilson's just great connection with his receivers. So I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh here.
I'm going to go with the Ravens in this game. Yeah, I think that, yes, the Steelers are very good. They have some good weapons out there, getting Mike Williams as well as having George Pickens. But I feel like in this game, when I look at what they're able to do, you have so many different weapons, especially having Derrick Henry out there for the Baltimore Ravens. That's going to help them be able to get some time of possession battles that they're going to win, and they're going to be able to move the ball down the throats of the Pittsburgh Steelers, which is one of their struggles that they have is the run game. So, especially when you have guys like T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith trying to blitz, you can go with the run game, and you're going to be able to win the game. So, add in they have Deontay Johnson that they got from the Carolina Panthers. This might be a revenge game for him, as he used to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I'm going to take the Ravens in this game.
Yeah, that'll be a really good one to watch. And then you got another divisional matchup, Seattle versus San Francisco. This is big for both of them because that NFC wildcard race is kind of like ours, where there's the 5 and the 6 are really good teams, and you might be able to sneak in the 7. But in the NFC, the 7 is still really good. I think
Yeah.
Green Bay is the 7 seed at 6-3.
Right.
So San Francisco is not even in the playoffs right now, and the Cardinals are leading that division. And the Cardinals already beat the Niners. The Seahawks are trying to keep above water, but the NFC West, you basically, if you're in that division, you're still in it. All 4 of the teams. Your best path is obviously just winning a division, because it's going to be hard with 4 and 5. They all have 4 and 5 losses. But I love Seattle because my friend likes Seattle, so I always root for them. But with McCaffrey back, Seattle's been struggling. They're coming off a bye. I need to see how they play this week against San Francisco. They really struggle against San Francisco. I can't remember the last time they beat San Francisco. So because of that, I got to pick the Niners at home.
Yeah, last week the 49ers struggled against the Bucks. That was one of the games that I kind of was wondering how they were going to do in. But listen, Christian McCaffrey is back. He's back from that calf injury. Try saying that fast. Christian McCaffrey, calf injury.
Yeah, right.
Not going to work out very well. But you add him back. You have Jawan Jennings coming back as well. That's going to be a big move for them. Then you look at the other side of the ball for the Seattle Seahawks. Geno Smith, yes, he has led the NFL in passing yards. But on the other hand, I'm looking at this Seattle team. I feel like they're just 1 year away from being a great team.
Yeah,
And they do have Mike McDonald, who's a wonderful head coach, but this is just not the year for them. And I feel like this 49ers are going to run a couple of games and get back into playoff contention. They understand that they are supposed to be a Super Bowl caliber team, and they'll get back in the race now.
definitely. Then you got Atlanta, Denver. Denver's defense has been tops in the league in pressures and just getting after the quarterback. Looking really good. I know they almost beat Kansas City. Bo Nix seems to be settling in. Obviously, he's like 50 years old, so he should be, mature and ready to go. But Atlanta just lost to the Saints, and Denver's at home. Denver, again, really great defense. I think Denver's going to win this game just based off of defense alone.
Yeah, I look at this game a little bit, and the Falcons are one of those teams that they have a great offense. But on the other hand, when you look at what they've done this season, they've kind of fizzled out a little bit. They have Bijan Robinson, they have Drake London, they have some great weapons. Kyle Pitts not having the greatest year. I don't know what necessarily is going to happen with him because he was a high pick in the draft, and it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do with him. But on the other hand, I look at this Broncos defense. Their defense has been very well with Bo Nix out there as well, and they're finding a way to get this running game going with a couple of different names. It's not Javonte Williams necessarily leading the way, but they're finding some other guys that are becoming weapons on this offense too. And I look at the Falcons. I mean, yeah, they want to win the division. I feel like they're competing very well. Their defense is good too. So it's kind of like a toss up for me, but I'm going to take the Falcons to win this one, and they'll find a way to get it done with Bijan Robinson, and Kirk Cousins will go off in this game.
Yeah, it should be a good one. Then you got the Kansas City Chiefs going into Buffalo. This will be an awesome game to watch. It's going to be great to be at. Of course, I'll be there. And, both teams have injuries. Chiefs have guys out for the season. We have a lot of guys out possibly. It was tough to pick because I'm like, I don't know. At least I'm pretty sure we'll have Cooper this week, and which is good. We definitely won't have Coleman. He's already ruled out. We don't know about Spencer Brown yet, and we don't know about Dalton Kincaid. I'm sure Dalton Kincaid might not play, but we'll see. But regardless, you think about it, they always have great matchups. These two teams, minus like the AFC Championship game. Every other game, I'm pretty sure was really close, except for when we blew them out in Kansas City that one year. Even when they came to Buffalo that year, we lost to them in the regular season. I think it was a one-score game, and we almost got a forced fumble at the end and had a chance to win, or tied the game at least. So these games are going to be close. They don't have a really great offense, so if our defense can force turnovers, which they've been prone to do this year, we might be able to have a better chance. But again, just missing Kincaid, missing Coleman, maybe missing Spencer Brown against one of probably the best defense in the league might be hard. Not that Allen can't do it, because I'm sure he's going to do whatever he can to win this football game. But I think it'll be a low-scoring, close game. But I still think Buffalo. It's because I'll be there. I got to pick because I'm undefeated. I was going to pick the Chiefs based on, we don't know who's going to be playing for us or not. But I got to go with the home team.
Man, you scared me a little bit. I'm not going to lie, because even though the Bills are favored to win this game, this is going to be closer than you think. The Chiefs,
Definitely.
yes, number one, they are undefeated. They're playing some mediocre football right now. In terms and I'm not saying this disrespectfully. Yes, they are 9-0. They're a great team. They are, but they're not playing their best football. Travis Kelce isn't getting the amount of touches that he deserves. Number one. Number two, they haven't gelled very well as an offense, and they're starting to come together. Don't get me wrong. They got DeAndre Hopkins for a reason, to take some pressure off of Travis Kelce, and he's going to come into this game and he's going to find a way to get involved. I think this one's going to be very close, but listen, Sean, you're undefeated at home. That's the greatest thing in the world, but sometimes it comes to an end. And I feel like the Kansas City Chiefs are going to get the best of the Buffalo Bills now. And you want them to at this point, and I'll tell you why. Whoever wins this overall series in the regular season will lose in the playoffs. So I want the Kansas City Chiefs to beat the Buffalo Bills now in order for the Bills to beat them in the playoffs to go to the Super Bowl. So let's take the Bills losing this week to the Kansas City Chiefs so that the Bills go to the Super Bowl.
Well, I would agree with that if we would have beat them in the playoffs and the championship because we lost to them in the regular season. So I know a lot of people are, let's swap and we'll lose in the regular season this time. But I'm not buying it. Can't buy it yet. So mainly because if we lose, we might drop all the way down to the 3 because we're in control of the 2 seed right now.
Right.
If we win, we might not get the 1 seed. I don't know if Kansas City is going to lose another game, but we'll be in control of the 2 seed still. We still got to play the Lions. We still got to play the Niners, and the Rams are still a good team, but we still got to play them too. So I don't want to lose this game because then you have an opportunity to lose the next 2 or 3, and it could be a snowball effect. And you want to get this win. You want to end their 9-0 streak and 15-game win streak, really, and then still be in control of the 2 seed. And if you lose to the Lions and you beat the Rams and the Niners, you're still in a good position to beat Baltimore for the 2 seed or the Steelers for the 2 seed, because to me, the 2 and 3 seed is the most important. If we get the 1, awesome. I mean, who knows? We could go 15-2. I'm not gonna pick us to do that, but it's possible if you win this game, and it could really start something good. But we'll see. I think the Chiefs can win this game too, but just because I'm going, I got to pick us.
And when I look at this game, I mean, the biggest reasons I take the Kansas City Chiefs is because they haven't played their best football yet. The Bills have, but the Bills do have some injuries, like you said. Dalton Kincaid, you have Amari Cooper, who isn't going to be relatively healthy necessarily. If all these guys miss this game, then I feel like the Kansas City Chiefs are going to win it. But if you start seeing some of them come back and play, then I think it's going to be closer. Right now, based off of the overall injury report of what I've seen with Spencer Brown, Dalton Kincaid, Amari Cooper being injured and, yes, limited, though, but Keon Coleman not playing, that scares me in these situations. And then you look at the other side of the ball for Kansas City, you look at their offense. The biggest weapon that the Bills have had trouble going up against as of recently, Travis Kelce. Who do we not have this week for the Buffalo Bills to go up against Travis Kelce? We don't have Matt Milano. Yes, his practice window is opening up, but he has already been ruled out this week. So for me, it's going to be tough for this defense to cover him. And when I look at Taylor Rapp, you look at DeMar Hamlin, do you think one of them is going to be able to cover Travis Kelce one-on-one? Not necessarily. So it's going to be very difficult for them to be able to get this offense off the field. You're starting to see the passing defense give up some major plays. I think they're susceptible to giving up bigger plays this week, and that's what's going to cause the Kansas City Chiefs to get this win.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, then you got the new Sunday night game, Cincinnati versus the Chargers. And again, the Chargers are that team that's in the 6th spot at 6-3. Bengals are trying to get to the 7th spot, which I definitely don't want to happen. But I mean, it kind of stinks for us because if the Dolphins get to 7, we already played them twice and beat them. If we get to 2, it's hard to beat someone 3 times. If the Jets somehow got to 7, it's hard to beat someone 3 times. And the Bengals just match up well against us. And then, it'd be frustrating because we know the Bengals defense is horrible, but they would just play their best game against us, and it'd be tough. But at the end of the day, I don't care who we play in the playoffs. I just want to win. But I think the Chargers defense has just been outstanding. They've been efficient on offense. They don't turn the ball over. They can run the football. The Cincinnati defense is just awful. The Chargers defense is great. So I think that the Chargers are going to win.
This is going to be a very close game, number one, because you look at what Jamar Chase did last week, putting up 55 points in fantasy. This is one of those weeks where with T. Higgins, I feel like the Cincinnati Bengals could come out of this one with a win. But I look at the Chargers defense. They have a lot of weapons out there. They're starting to gel quite a bit. They're exceeding my expectations of how good they were going to be this year. I felt like with Justin Herbert, they weren't going to be able to get it done. They have, and even though I feel like this is going to be come down to the last possession, I think that Justin Herbert's going to get them over the game. J.K. Dobbins is going to go off as well. So if you're playing up against the Chargers, you're going to struggle a little bit, but I think that this is going to be a fun game to watch. It's one that I'm going to be clicking over to on commercials for the Chiefs-Bills game when they're both going on. So I can't wait for this one, but I'm taking the Chargers.
All right. And then the Jets and the Colts. I'm going to take the Colts for the upset. The Jets are horrible. The Colts have a underrated defense. They're not too bad. They got playmakers. They give up a lot of yards, but at the end of the day, I think they're going back to Richardson. And I think the Jets are going to struggle with a guy with a cannon and who can move. They can't tackle, so it's going to be hard to stop Jonathan Taylor. And again, the Jets just stink, so it's easy.
Well, 2 can play at that game. I'm taking the Colts as well as my upset of the week. I planned on taking the Colts all week. I'm not changing it either. I'm rolling with the Colts getting the upset of the week. I just lost all faith in the Jets. They could come back. They could. Don't get me wrong. But when I look at all the moves that they made this season, they're trying to salvage the year, but it's not going to happen. I feel like the Colts played very well against the Buffalo Bills last week, even though Joe Flacco did throw a couple of interceptions against us. They did have some sacks. They're still a very good defense, and if they can compete and stay in the game and just run the ball with Jonathan Taylor, which is going to be the biggest strength, they'll find a way to get a W this week.
Yeah, and they did switch this game with the Bengals game for the Sunday Night Football, luckily, because nobody would want to watch this game for Sunday night for sure. And
they switched this one from Sunday night?
Oh, yeah, they flexed it. They put the Bengals and the Chargers Sunday night, and then they put this at 1 o'clock because they stink.
Gotcha. I didn't see it because it wasn't updated on the.
Oh no, you're good. I was just bringing it up because it's like imagine watching this Sunday night, but Monday night you got the battles of the state of Texas, the Houston Texans against the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas, I had a lot of expectations this year. I would say they had injuries the whole year. They didn't do anything in the offseason, unfortunately. All they had to do, like, if they just got Derrick Henry instead of the Ravens, the Cowboys would be a great team because that's all they really needed. They didn't have another weapon besides CeeDee Lamb. And then Dak was struggling. Now he's hurt. The Texans look horrible too. And I don't know how we lost to them. But I think the Texans will win.
Yeah, I look at this game in Cooper Rush last week. Man, not having the best year is not gonna. He's not gonna get it done. Dallas they're done. I'm gonna put it that way. Their season is over. Dak Prescott going on IR. That's gonna hurt them even more. Now the joke of the matter is that he can return for the Super Bowl if they get there. That's gonna be interesting to see if he can return by then, but we'll see. They're not out of it yet. But I'm going to take the Texans to beat the Cowboys and put them out of the playoffs for good. And it's going to send Mike McCarthy packing.
All right. We'll see how it all works out this week. It's going to be a fun week. A lot of rivals, a lot of good games. But we'll see you guys next time. Go Bills, and thanks for watching.
Go Bills.